Kerala, a land of breathtaking beauty. It lies on India's southwestern tip, known as God's own country, with lush green landscapes and serene backwaters that gently flow. Its coastline is vibrant, teeming with life, a place where people and nature have long lived side by side. This natural treasure now faces a grave threat. A shadow has fallen upon these beautiful shores. The clear blue waters of the Arabian Sea kiss the golden sands of Kerala, home to countless creatures big and small, from tiny plankton to majestic sea turtles. The rhythm of the waves dictates life here. Fisherfolk depend on its bounty. Communities thrive along its edge. The fate of Kerala's coast hangs in the balance. The MSC ELSA Three was a large vessel, a container ship, built to cross vast oceans. It carried goods from one port to another, part of a global network of trade. On this particular voyage, its journey was cut short. Near the Indian coast, disaster struck. The ship encountered severe weather, or perhaps some other unforeseen problem arose. The exact cause is still being carefully investigated. What we know is that the ship began to list. This means it started to tilt to one side, a dangerous sign for any vessel at sea. The crew sent out distress signals. They knew they were in grave danger. Despite efforts to save it, the ship took on water. The brave crew members were evacuated, but the ship itself could not be saved. Slowly, tragically, it began to sink. The MSC ELSA Three now rests on the seabed. The MSC ELSA Three was not just carrying ordinary goods. Among its many containers, some held hazardous materials. These are substances that can cause great harm to living organisms and the environment. Chemicals used in industries perhaps, or other potentially polluting substances. The full list of its cargo is crucial. Authorities are working to understand the exact nature of everything that went down with the ship. These toxic materials pose a significant risk. If their containers are breached by seawater or damaged by the pressure in the deep, the chemicals could leak out, spreading like an invisible poison. This could create a toxic plume, moving with the ocean currents, potentially contaminating a vast area. The unseen danger is often the most worrying. Some chemicals can kill marine life directly, others can cause long-term damage, affecting their ability to reproduce or stunting their growth. Some toxins can accumulate in the food chain, starting with small creatures, then moving to bigger fish, and eventually, they could reach humans who consume seafood from these waters. The challenge is immense and it is urgent. The clock is ticking on this hidden menace. Beyond the chemical cargo, there is another major concern. The MSC ELSA Three, like all large ships, carried fuel. A significant amount of oil to power its engines. This oil is thick and very polluting. If it escapes from the ship's tanks, it can cause what we call an oil spill, a dark, sticky slick spreading across the water. This is one of the most feared marine disasters, and the risk is now very real for Kerala. Imagine a black blanket covering the ocean surface. This oil slick prevents sunlight from reaching below, harming tiny plants called phytoplankton. The oil also coats everything it touches. Seabirds become covered, their feathers matted. Marine mammals like dolphins or whales can inhale toxic fumes or ingest the oil. Preventing a large-scale oil spill is paramount. The waters off Kerala are a cradle of marine biodiversity. Coral reefs, though perhaps not extensive, provide shelter. Seagrass beds act as nurseries for young fish. Mangrove forests line parts of the coast. Their tangled roots protect the shore and offer a safe haven for many species. These delicate ecosystems are now under direct threat from the sunken MSC ELSA Three and its contents. The potential for harm is truly immense. Consider the gentle giants, the sea turtles. 5 species are known to nest on India's coasts. They might swim through contaminated waters or ingest plastic debris mixed with toxins. Dolphins, intelligent and social creatures, could suffer from skin irritation or respiratory problems if they come into contact with pollutants. Countless species of fish, crabs, and prawns all are vulnerable to chemical poisoning or oil. The very fabric of the marine food web could unravel if plankton, the tiny drifters, are affected. The small fish that feed on them will suffer, then the larger fish, and so on. This disruption can have cascading effects, leading to a decline in fish populations and affecting the overall health of the ocean. The beauty and richness of Kerala's marine world is facing an unprecedented challenge. The sinking of the MSC ELSA Three is not just an environmental story, it is also a human story, deeply affecting coastal communities. For generations, people in Kerala have lived by the sea. Fishing is more than just a job here. It is a way of life, a cultural heritage. Thousands of families depend directly on the daily catch. Their boats, their nets, their skills are their sustenance. Now, their livelihoods are in jeopardy. A cloud of uncertainty hangs over these communities. If the waters become contaminated with oil or chemicals, fishing activities will have to be banned or severely restricted for safety reasons. This means no income for the fisherfolk. How will they feed their families? How will they meet their daily needs? The economic hardship could be devastating. Small-scale fishers are often the most vulnerable. They have few, if any, alternative sources of income. The impact extends beyond the fishers themselves. The entire local economy can suffer. Fish markets, ice suppliers, boat repairers, all are part of this interconnected web. Tourism, another vital source of income for Kerala, could also be badly hit if beaches are polluted or if the reputation of the area is damaged. The anxiety and stress within these communities are palpable. As soon as the MSC ELSA Three sent its distress call, the Indian Coast Guard sprang into action. These brave men and women are the guardians of India's seas. Their primary mission was to save the crew, and they accomplished this successfully. But their work was far from over. They immediately began to assess the environmental threat, monitoring the site of the sinking closely, looking for any signs of pollution. Local authorities in Kerala also mobilized quickly. Disaster management teams were put on alert. Fisheries departments and pollution control boards began coordinating their efforts. Communication channels were established to share information and plan responses. This collaborative effort is crucial in tackling a crisis of this magnitude. Every minute counts in such situations. Initial response measures often include surveillance. Aircraft and ships patrol the area, using specialized sensors to detect oil or chemicals. Samples of seawater may be collected and analyzed in laboratories for contamination. This helps to understand the extent of the problem and to predict where pollutants might spread based on currents and weather conditions. Preparedness is key to effective action. The immediate crisis response is just the beginning. If pollution has occurred, a long period of cleanup follows. This is often a painstaking and difficult process. Cleaning oil from beaches can involve manual labor, workers carefully removing contaminated sand. Specialized techniques may be needed for sensitive habitats like mangroves or coral reefs. Restoring them to their former health is a huge task. Nature has a remarkable ability to heal, but it needs time. Scientists and environmental experts play a vital role. They assess the full extent of the damage, monitoring the recovery of marine populations and the health of various ecosystems. This data helps to guide restoration efforts and to understand what interventions are most effective. It can take many years for an area to recover fully from a major pollution incident. Patience and persistence are essential. Financial support is also critical. The costs of cleanup and restoration can be enormous. There are international conventions in place that can help determine liability for such incidents and provide compensation for damages. But the true cost to nature and communities is often far greater than any monetary sum. The focus must be on preventing such events rather than just dealing with their aftermath. The sinking of the MSC ELSA Three is a stark reminder of the risks associated with our modern world. Global trade relies heavily on shipping. Millions of tons of cargo cross our oceans daily. While most voyages are safe, accidents can happen. And when they involve hazardous materials or oil, the consequences can be catastrophic. We must learn from incidents like this to make our seas safer for the future. Stronger regulations for shipping are essential. This includes rules for ship construction and maintenance to ensure vessels are seaworthy and resilient. Stricter protocols for carrying hazardous cargo and better tracking of these materials. Improved training for crews in emergency situations, and robust inspection regimes in ports. International cooperation is vital, as shipping is a global industry. We also need to invest in better preparedness for responding to marine pollution incidents. This means having adequate equipment and trained personnel ready to be deployed at a moment's notice, developing more effective cleanup technologies and conducting regular drills and exercises. The future of Kerala's coast and indeed all our oceans depends on our collective actions.